Okay, well, hello everybody out there. This is a video about evil attorneys and evil lawyers that are in the world. And the biggest one that I've ever ran into is Jackson, Banks County, Georgia, including a little bit of Beryl, I guess. The main players I'll be talking about, but there are going to be several, will be Judge Curry Mingledorff, wherever that name came from, who knows. Robert Alexander is the main two players that we're talking about. Robert Alexander is a state court judge, and he is also an attorney. How that works out, guys, we're screwed with this United States government. Anyway, I had been married to this beautiful woman for 27 years, and she decided to divorce me. And fine, her heart fell out. I still loved her, but anyway, she went her way. And I was going mine. We was having a very peaceful divorce. She had hired this attorney in Gwinnett County, and I think he made sexual advances toward her, and she fired him, and we was having a great separation, working things out really good between us. She would come over and still even cook. I'd wash her car, things like that. And she hired this scumbag in Jefferson, Georgia, Jackson County, Robert Alexander. Again, he's a state court judge, and he's an attorney there. Actually, he's the boss of the judges and all the attorneys in Banks County, Beryl, and Jackson County, Georgia. He sort of rules and tells even the Supreme Court judge what to do. I'm going to tell you people something. All of your cases are already decided behind closed doors. Again, Robert Alexander is just like all these other attorneys out there. They try to get you fighting. They're not going to make any money with y'all running around being peaceful, lovey-dovey. We're going to work these things out ourselves. No, they got to get you fighting, so you'll start bitterness and hatred and all this between each other. Well, that's exactly what Robert Alexander did. Willfully and purposely, he started us fighting. He came down to my driveway and took pictures of signs. I got a mile-long driveway of guns drawn on them. You know, I've had myself felons down there and had to put them in jail. And anyway, he took pictures of us, so it's going to be some big evidence deal in court. Well, you know, Robert Alexander and anybody in the United States, Judge Mingledorff, who the hell you are out there, I'll put damn signs up on my property, and I'll put any words I want on them. But anyway, they take crap like that as evidence. And, you know, just to do what they can to make people look bad. I'm filming this in my beautiful home. I live in paradise. Stay out of the States a lot down here because I love it. It's beautiful, beautiful weather, as you see. I wouldn't live anywhere else but out of the United States now. I do go there. I have things there. But this is one of my homes. And there's my terrace. And I have flowers everywhere because I love flowers. And I planted these two banana trees just a few months ago by just like a dead root, and they're like going crazy. Anyway, there was no longer any peace in our relationship, Robin and I. We had agreed when she moved out that we keep our 10-year-old son 1 week on and 1 week off, and that was working out really good. No problem. Son loved it. I basically raised my son. He was born with a major leg problem, missing some bones, and he's went through horrible operations his whole life since he's 18 months old. And I had a farm. He basically was raised up in the woods with guns and four-wheelers and just walking in the woods, just a woods country boy. That's what he loved, and that's what I love growing up. Anyway, him and I had just a great relationship together. I don't have any record, of course, other than traffic violations. I have had where I've whipped 3 different cops' butt because they stopped me and they went overboard with their what you call authority that they think they have out there. And don't push on me. I know my rights as a human. So don't take my rights away, and don't take my rights away as an American. And you'll be fine with me. But other than that, I don't have no felonies. I don't have anything in those things. The cops were fired over both of them. I took them to trial, and I could have sued them. They ain't got time to waste my breath and anything on those kind of people. But I've been abused by cops since I was little, and that was another story. Anyway, I'm writing a book on all of what I'm talking to you about, and it'll be in like detail about all the things and many, many, many more, of course, because I cannot get everything on this YouTube because it's so extensive. But Robert Alexander basically destroyed my whole family and whole life. And tons of millions of money, just anything and everything he could, and he put my ex in the grave. Literally, she's dead because of him. She had cancer, and Alexander used her, him and Mingledorff, and McLaughlin, Wayne McLaughlin's another judge, that used her and my son to get to me. They concocted some, contempt charges, I think, and put me in jail for like 90 days. McLaughlin's involved in this, signed an order, Mingledorff and Robert Alexander. From day one, they've been wanting to put me in jail, and jail was fine with me. I was treated like a king in there. I was brought in nice foods, got treated very well. Everyone knew me there. They all laughed when I first came in, and they all talked about what scumbags these judges and attorneys were. They all knew them, and none of them liked them. Well, attorneys try to find out what is the closest to their opponent. Is it land? Is it business? Is it children, or what? Well, Robbie knew damn well it was my son, number one, and my farm probably was number two. So what did Robert Alexander go after? He went after my son. Wrong thing to do, Robert Alexander, because I'm going to stay on your ass for the rest of your life, or the rest of my life, whichever comes first. Because you took my son and you used him, and when you got through with him, you threw him away. With my son's medical problems and all the things he was dealing with as his age, and you got a son that age, your wife teaches my son. She's teaching my son, and you're destroying him. Robert Alexander, I was at a football game. Robin, my ex, never brought her dad around, never had seen him for 10 years because he was abusive to their mom and them growing up, so she wouldn't have anything to do with him. But she brought him to a ball game, and knew doggone well we didn't like each other. And I saw him in Sam's Wholesale a few months earlier. And hello, Bill, and he balled his fists up, going to whip my butt. And anyway, we exchanged words, and then I started texting Robin some things. She was texting me. Well, basically, next day they got what you call ex parte. Robert Alexander, Mingledorff, Robin was in the chambers themselves, and I was not invited. They took my son away for 2 weeks, no contact, no phones, no nothing. After 2 weeks, we went to trial. They took my son away from me for only 6 hours a week. I could see him only 6 hours on Sundays, and that went on for 7 months. They took him out of his school to where he had his friends, to where he had been going all these years. They put him in a strange school in Gwinnett County, which is a county over from Jackson, where Robin had moved in a basement with her girlfriend that she went to school with, Amy Crawford. And boy, she's a card too. I got to tell you about her later on. You'll read more about her in the book, though. But anyway, my son, he was on a golf course. He didn't have his guns, didn't have a father figure. Had several mothers. He had Robin when she was there, not in Buckhead with her boyfriends. But he had Amy Crawford, and he had Ann Guyton, her mother, and some other moms out there, Shelly, her sister. But anyway, there was no man, no father figure in my son's life. And my son totally changed. He was ripped through this divorce. Alexander used him as much as he could he had Robin meet us with the police in exchange. And again, I've never touched Robin's. We've never had any problem whatsoever during our marriage. Arguments, yes. Who don't argue? Okay, no physical, no nothing, no anything. But he created me as this bad guy out there, and wanting my children to believe that also. That's sick. And he did gain that with my daughter Kansas. He persuaded her, and so did Robin's, what I call them, bodyguards. Jill Sutherland, and I think Sharon Skelton, and Congo, Carrie Congo, and many others out there. When y'all get divorced, people